Woo! Hello, everybody. It's time to take out a boss. These are dirty. These are so very dirty. Let's see if I can get them clean. Surprisingly, this is a tough boss we're about to fight, and it doesn't let you level grind before you hit it. I was kind of surprised by that. I was gonna level grind a little bit so I don't look like a fool, and or potentially lose. But I think we'll be all right here. I just gotta believe in myself. I gotta have fighting effort. I gotta battle my best. I'm just saying all the stuff that my wrestling coaches would tell me. Why can't I open this? There we go. Rematch. All right. Anything back here? I never understood in this game. Can they breathe underwater forever or not? What's up, Jacob? Good to see you, brother. More people will be in the Twitch chat for you today, my friend, because we're streaming exclusively to Twitch. But that was low-key my motivation to stream today, because I was like, dang, nobody's was in the Twitch chat with Jacob on the last stream. So I'm like, I got to do another gaming stream to keep building that Twitch audience. Like, the more gaming streams I do, I feel like the more people will find our Twitch, and then the more people will watch the regular streams on the Twitch. That's my logic behind it. So thanks for giving me the motivation to get on my grind today. If you can call playing Final Fantasy X and talking about politics with the chat a grind, but chat, is this real? One of my friends has been using the word chat in Twitch chat in his everyday language.
You're all right? We
Chat,
were so worried.
Real?
It's good to have you back.
We're
Thank
back,
you.
baby.
I...
What about your boy? So you're not married now? Let me slide in there. He said, oh, here, freaking Seymour. He's always crashing the party. Time to whoop his ass again. Can't wait till I get to fight you, fat boy. Oh, whoa, they killed Vaush. No, Vaush.
Keenock.
Vaush.
Why you?
Wish you could name the villain.
I have saved him. He was a man who craved power. And great power he had, but he feared
I thought you
losing
fought that guy.
Trembling at unseen enemies, he
Maybe I'm
spent his
mistaking him
days
for
scheming petty schemes.
The guy
Chased
in Final
by his
Fantasy
fears,
VII.
never knowing rest.
The CEO.
You see, now
thanks,
he
Jacob.
has no worry.
Thank you for letting me know, my friend. Well, I'll let the cutscene play, and then I'll really lower that a bit.
He has been granted sleep eternal. Death is a sweet slumber. All the pain of life is gently swept away. Ah, yes. So you see, if all life were to end in Spira, all suffering would end. Don't you see? Do you not agree? That, Yuna, is why I need you. Come, Lady Yuna. Come with me to Zanarkand, the lost city of the dead. With death on
Adjusting
our
my
side,
audio.
we will save Spira. And for this, I will take from you your strength, Yuna, your life, and become the next Sin.
Whoa, you want to be
Spira.
Sin?
I will save it.
You're totally nuts.
LOL.
Unpleasant. Very well. I will give you your death. You seem to want it so.
Did Kimari just stab him in the heart? Unpleasant, but a flesh wound. Ooh.
Run! Protect Yuna!
Go! No way! I'm fighting!
I said go!
Let's just fight him. Fight. Jacob says, I was just about to start reading chapter 2 of a Stalin-era Soviet college textbook on Marxist philosophy, prepared by the Leningrad Institute of Philosophy under the direction of Shirokov.
He's a guardian.
I want to catch the stream and say hi. Nice. Yeah, that sounds like a good reading. I just started volume 3 today, actually.
We're all guardians.
Just the intro by Ernest Mandel, who actually, he's a trot, but his intros are okay.
Yuna, anywhere you go, I'll follow.
Anywhere I go?
Yeah, anywhere.
Well then, let's go.
Hey,
Let's
Kamari,
go.
leave
That was
some
corny.
for us.
Hey, wait for me!
I like it, though.
Me too.
Wait for
I'll go
me.
too.
So that's cool, Jacob. Like I said, I was reading. I don't know if you could hear me when the cutscene was going on, but I was reading volume 3 today. Or the intro by Ernest Mandel, who's a trot, and his intros are good. They're theoretically solid, but he'll always come to a conclusion. Like, he does this one intro to volume 2, I think it is, or maybe volume 1, I don't remember, but it's like this great analysis of the Soviet economies, right, and how the Soviet economies worked and how they were planned, how the economic planners basically looked at the whole economy theoretically on paper. And then, you know, his big critique at the end of this, though, his big conclusion is that, oh, the Soviet Union failed because they didn't abolish the commodity form. It's like, well, how were they supposed to do that? How are they supposed to abolish the commodity form while also beating Hitler and also, you know, being under duress from the Western powers, being situated within global capitalism for the entirety of their existence? And then he also, in that intro, like, mocks the people's republics. He calls them people's republics with like quotations around them. I'm like, bruh, get out of here with your parroting imperialist talking points about the DPRK and stuff. But typical trot stuff. But his economic analysis is good. You know, it's like 60 pages of good stuff and 2 pages of rotten stuff. But the rotten stuff just makes you like, come on. At least that's how I feel. But I get how it is for Western academics. Okay, you can probably level grind here before you fight Seymour. So I was wrong earlier about not being able to grind. We stay on our grind. But yeah, Ernest Mandel is pretty good. Then I was also reading this book about Laos today. It's just like reading a history. Why are there 2 save spheres right here? Reading a history text from a bourgeois historian, someone who's not a Marxist, like, it's fine. It's okay. But they just don't look close enough at exploitation, and they underestimate the effect of exploitation. They don't talk about where the surplus of a country is going, which has so much to do with the development of that country. So, like, when they're talking about Laos, you know, they're saying that exploitation wasn't the main goal of France being in Laos. It was just this, you know, them spreading their cultural values and spreading French nationalism. It's like, no, look at the economy. They were exploiting the economy. They were taking home a giant surplus based on the labor of the Lao people. There's just so many things like that where they underestimate, or that where they don't look at the way that the French colonial system exploited the Lao people and sucked out surplus value. And they basically just say, well, the colonialism wasn't as brutal, it wasn't as oppressive as colonialism in Vietnam, meaning there wasn't as much violence and racism from the colonial forces, and there weren't as many revolts from the Lao people as there were from the Vietnamese people, which increased the antagonism, right? It was a little bit more peaceful. So the author says, you know, therefore colonialism wasn't that bad, and basically puts a nice smiling face on French colonialism in Laos, and it's like, bro, what do you mean it wasn't that bad? The country wasn't able to invest in healthcare and industry and a diverse economy and the things you need to have a modern society because the surplus of their country was going to France, which he doesn't talk about. And then he explains away the Lao people not being able to invest in themselves, saying it was basically from like government instability and stuff. It's like, no, they were paying giant taxes to the French. They're French occupiers, and then France was, again, sucking out the surplus of their country, so they couldn't reinvest it. But we'll see. I'm not to the part. It's a whole history. It's like a textbook on Laos, an introductory textbook on Laos. So we'll see, because Laos is communist to this day. So I'm excited to get to the revolution, the Vietnam War, when the U.S. waged a secret war against Laos and dropped more bombs on them than any other country in history. And then they've remained communist to this day. So I'm very excited to see how the author portrays that. I'm also kind of dreading it, I guess, but why can't I attack here? Out of range. Oh, I got to take out these guys first. I was going off about Laos and bourgeois historians. It's just Marx gives such a great lens of analysis for these things that helps you understand them on such a deeper level and a more concrete level, really, is the main thing. Otherwise, you just kind of have to explain away historical events. You know, you can be like, this happened, this historical event happened, and you can kind of make up your own reasoning. Whereas with the Marxist method, and with looking at the concrete state and relations of production in a country, it tells you so much about that country and what's going on with the politics and the culture and everything in the superstructure. So then when someone doesn't use that method of analysis, it's so frustrating. You know, and there are good historians too who basically use a Marxist method without knowing it per se, or without saying it at least. Like Edward Baptiste's analysis of slavery in the American South. It's basically a diamat analysis. What happens if this guy kicks me? Do we lose? We better not lose. Can I escape? Get the hell out of here. Oh, I can't escape. Nope. Dealt him with the ball. So I'm scared about fighting this boss if I can't even beat these guys. Jeez. Oh, you're gonna kick me now, no? I'm just nervous here. I gotta keep using potions so I don't give up a critical hit and get a game over. I was just about to ask if Mandel's intros to 3 volumes of Capital are any good. Yeah. Well, I gave a pretty in-depth explanation, so hopefully that was good. But ask me any other questions you have about it. So it's pretty fresh in my mind. Kill this thing. In the process of getting Capital Volumes 1 and 3 that were published by international publishers. Nice. I have their versions of Volume 2, and it's good. I haven't read it yet, but the unabridged version that features a preface by Engels that doesn't feature an introduction by a Trotskyist or an anti-communist Western historian that looks like a wrinkled testicle. Every time with the wrinkled testicles. Yeah, that's nice. That's why international publishers is great. Carlos really likes to get his books from there. I have a lot of Penguin copies, just because I'm lazy. But Carlos buys a lot of his from international publishers, and they're more sympathetic to the tankies, to the people who are correct. So You don't get the hardcore anti-communism that you get with Penguin intros. Penguin intros are notorious for having what I guess we could call wrinkled testicle intros. Super anti-communist introductions by people who suck. This is luck, huh? Maybe I'll use this. How about that? Little HP. Oh, 300 extra HP. All right, I dig it. Very good, very good. But yeah, Ernest Mandel was good. It's just like, it's the typical stuff you have to watch out for with Western Marxists, right? Like, they'll be very, very good, and then they'll just like make a comment about the DPRK or about some socialist country, and you're like, bro, what? Where did that come from? Which is why people say there's a Trotskyist to neocon pipeline, because a lot of their foreign policy positions and their positions on existing socialism, like, literally put them in alignment with the U.S. State Department. But like, then their economic analysis will be fire and really good. You'll just disagree with their conclusions. It's like, what? How does this even happen? How do you make such good economic analysis, but then we draw like the opposite political conclusions? It's just not enough people be reading or agreeing with State and Revolution. And they should just realize that that book is awesome. And dictatorship of the proletariat is a necessary concept in the construction of socialism. It just is. History has proven that, yo. History has absolved Lenin. Kind of just want to level grind a little bit more, y'all. Then we'll jump into this and we'll crush these dudes. But ask away, ask questions, or give political topics, and I will answer them as best I can, if I can. But the only good introduction to a book by Marx that was published by Penguin is the Grundrisse, if I remember from one of your old TikToks, comrade. You're absolutely right, Jacob. And it's the weirdest thing. I don't know the guy who wrote that intro, but it's so, or I mean, I can't remember his name. Actually, let me grab my copy because it's worth remembering. Because this guy killed it with his intro. And I haven't read the Grundrisse yet other than the intro. Martin Nicholas, who also translated it. That guy is a beast. But, like, he never wrote anything else about Marx after that intro. Like, that was it. He just disappeared and did, like, something like some self-help books or something like that. It's kind of really weird. But, like, I wish he would have written more because that intro is so good. Like you said, it's one of the only solid introductions to a Penguin, a work of Marx published by Penguin. So shout out to that guy. I'm really sad he didn't publish one. All right, my level grinding here is going terrible. I'm allowing my comrades here to die and not level up. So gotta quit doing that. Yeah, that Martin Nicolaus introduction is fire. None of the, like, I should explain more. None of the anti-communism, right? None of the good economic analysis and then whack political conclusions, like good economic analysis, but screw all the socialist countries because they didn't immediately abolish the commodity form and stuff. No parroting State Department talking points. And the economic analysis is great, and the understanding of history is great. And he just gives this good framework because the Grundrisse is really, really complicated. right? Because it's Marx's notes. So it's not like arranged in a way that's easy to read or even necessarily makes sense to read, you know, because a lot of times if I were to look at your notes, you know, it'd probably be hard for anyone except for you to understand them, right? Because you know how you take notes and how you like to record information, and other people might not. But Nikolaus just had such a good understanding of what Marx was working on and what Marx wanted to do with capital. It's clear that he was really, really well read when it comes to Marx and Engels and the correspondences between the two, because you can learn a lot from those letters that Marx and Engels wrote to each other about what they were thinking and what they were working on. And he lays out that, as Ernest Mandel does, I guess, but he lays out that Marx had like 12 books of capital planned. You have one focused on production, two focused on circulation, the market, and the exchange of value between capitalists. And then in volume 3, you have the connection of production to circulation, so you can look at the system in its totality. But then there were supposed to be like 6 more books adding on supplemental analysis. Probably not books as long as volumes 1, 2, and 3, but books about like the world market or about international trade, or about these specific concepts that need to be analyzed because of the way that they affect the totality of the capitalist system. That's analyzed in volumes 1, 2, and 3. So one, it really shows that there's a lot of work to be done still, right? Like Marx didn't ever get to finish what he started with his analysis of the capitalist mode of production. And a lot of it had to be finished by Engels, but even Engels didn't get to finish a lot of what Marx had planned. So it's important to realize that we need to expand on that analysis and apply that analysis to our own conditions, right? So all right, let's see what this does. What the hell was that? That didn't do anything. The Gundrissa is definitely worth reading, though. Like, some people talk about it being boring or not. You don't need it because it's just Marx's notes. Like, no, it's definitely good. It's the blueprint for capital. So it really helps you understand capital. All right, this is stupid. My teammates are... I'm trying to level grind, and I'm literally, like, only giving experience to Oren, who's already the highest leveled person in my party. Let's just level up. Let's just level up. A few of these people one more time. Like Stalin and Lulu. What's up on Parallel Dev? How's it going? Good to see you. It's been a hot minute, has it not? I don't know. I don't even remember the last gaming stream I did. It wasn't that long ago, to be completely honest. Ouch. Ouch. All right, this is going to be much better. Oh, dang it. That is unfortunate. This is a much better combo of people. These things are freaking strong, though. What in the world is going on with these things? I don't like them, Sam. I am. That was a lucky miss. The reason that I bring up certain publications of Marx's texts is because I want to be able to stay true to what Lenin said in The State and Revolution when he said that you can't even trust the translations of Marx's works that might have been potentially distorted by bourgeois academics and opportunists. And Lenin, being a giga that he was, went back to the original German text and translated them into Russian himself. Yes. And that's why I task you with learning German. Jacob, it's your job. The revolution needs you to learn German. So you can start translating these texts. Get Duolingo. You got to do it. I'm just kidding. That would be cool, though. These guys, like Lenin, Engels, even Paul Robeson, they spoke like 7 friggin' languages. I got to control. And, I know once you learn one language, it's easier to learn more. And maybe I'll learn other languages once I have my Spanish finished. But still, it's insane that they... All right, let's go fight this boss. Let's give it a shot. Does he just say escape? What the heck? Whatever. What was I saying? Yeah, these people knew like a million languages. It's so friggin' impressive. Where do you find the time to learn all these languages? Don't you play Final Fantasy X? I'm learning Albed. That's the language that I'm learning, the Albed. I'm gonna learn Elvish. Didn't J.R.R. Tolkien make like a whole language for the Lord of the Rings? Like, isn't Elvish like a whole language with grammar and stuff? What's up, Payback Museum? I'm glad you found me funny. Oh, I must have my soundboard off. I was going to play the laugh track. Whoops. Sorry, I was lurking. Your all bad joke got me. I'm glad you liked that one. I thought it was funny too. Thank you. Thank you for appreciating my humor. I feel like I am a little underleveled for this. All right, I lied. I'm going to go back one more time. One more time. German would be great to learn. It would. Seems like a language that's kind of hard to speak, though. I've heard Spanish is one of the easy ones. It's definitely easier than English. English just has so much that doesn't make sense. Like, everything in Spanish makes sense. Every word, I feel like you can sound it out pretty dang easily. English, like, there's all these random times when the letter is silent, and it just gets all weird. It's just difficult to figure out all the abnormal rules in English. Versus in Spanish, there's not that many abnormal rules. Like none. So, the superior language. Spanish supremacy. Uh-oh. Ich was durch Genosse aber nicht genug einen Experten zu nennen. What the heck does that mean? Maybe you already do speak German, Jacob. Incredible. Incredible, this guy. Look how fast I'm leveling up from these things. Like, a lot of my guys aren't getting experience every time. Because they're dead. Because these things are strong and annoying, but like, getting a lot of experience from them. I'm sure it's very fun to watch me level grind through this, so trying to keep it entertaining. Normally, you guys just sit and watch me, talk about politics for a while and react to videos, so at least now you got something to watch. I'd like to learn Navajo before learning more languages. I like the ranch, though. Good. You learn Navajo on Duolingo? That's how I've been learning Spanish, but I wouldn't recommend only learning from Duolingo. The reason it was really good for me is because my dad was a Spanish teacher, and like I had taken up through Spanish 4 in high school, so it's like I had already a pretty good grasp of the basics of the language, how to conjugate, which is a big thing in Spanish. And then Duolingo just helped me brush up on the stuff I had forgotten, and start learning new stuff, of course. So, ooh, new spell. How exciting. Probably saved 100 times this episode. Teach theory with gameplay of Final Fantasy X in background. Final Fantasy X is the new Subway Surfers. It is. There you go. All right, we were talking about the Capital series while I play Subway Surfer, basically, is what this is. FF10 is a plus. Good. I'm glad people like the FF10. One of my favorite games. Oops. Didn't mean to hit that guy. How do they do so much damage? Kill it. Oh, come on. Lame. Miss. Dead. Dead. All right. Orange going to be level 1,000. Love to see it. What do we got here? Delay Buster. I feel like we should get Yuna in here. Get her leveled up a little bit. I'm gonna have to pee in a second. I can't hold it any longer. My bad, I posted twice. No worries. Are you guys gonna do another Marxist class like from the start again? Oh yeah, that's a new thing now. Midwestern Marx University is in full swing. I'm planning on teaching a class eventually. I just gotta make sure I have time and plan it out. But yeah, we are doing that for sure. I'll be right back, everyone. I really got to pee. So yeah, we're super excited about Midwestern Marx University and the future of it. We're gonna do more basics classes, and we're gonna, do some classes that build off others. Like once you take the basics of Marxism course, and we can get you into another course where you expand on that knowledge. So we're looking to open like a separate Patreon account or some sort of mode of payment. Actually, I think we're using Selfie for it, but because we want to get the professors, the people teaching the class, paid directly, right? So like we can have people pay for each individual class, and then they the money that they pay for it, like 5 or 10% or whatever, goes to Midwestern Marx, and then 95% of it goes to the professor teaching the class. So that's the plan for the future. We're quite excited about it. I've said this a million times, but I feel like this is what we should be doing with our time and our energy and the audience that we are so thankful to have. Like, if we want to advance the struggle for socialism in America, like we should be getting people in a Zoom class with, just 20 of us and a teacher or two, and training people up ideologically and theoretically. It's just going to be super, super valuable, because then those people can go and recruit others. They can organize others. They can teach others. it can grow exponentially as things do. And it will make our on the ground organizing far more effective. Like, told the story a million times. My buddy Kyle was talking to some comrades in the Dominican Republic, a place where the struggle for socialism and the communist parties are much more powerful than they are here, right? They're far more advanced than us. And they're like, what we would like, or what we make fun of American communists for, is the fact that they have like a new party every week that's claiming it's going to become the Vanguard Party. What we'd like to see from the Americans is just more study of Marxism. Like, get a good batch of dedicated comrades, of people who want to be like professional revolutionaries, and teach them Marxism for 2 to 3 years, then send them to the workplaces, then send them to the unions, to talk to the labor movement, then send them into organized communities and put together like basically charity events where you also teach people theory. This is what they said. So, and that's what we feel like we're doing with the Marxism school, the Midwestern Marx Academy. Like, we're getting people in a serious environment, a good learning environment, with a teacher that they can communicate with one-on-one, and have access to an actual verbal face-to-face communication with, and training people up in Marxism, teaching them Marxism, studying it with a group of people who are dedicated. So, yeah, I feel like it's what we should be doing. I feel like it's what's going to help the class struggle in the U.S. the most out of all the things that we do. So yeah, expect more basics of Marxism classes and more classes in general. I think that mine, when I do it, will probably focus on imperialism, probably Lenin's imperialism, and then using that to make an analysis of a lot of modern issues. And then it'll be heavily focused on media literacy, for sure, and how to like judge what's propaganda and what's not, and sniff out corporate influences or nefarious influences in certain sources. So, yeah, looking forward to it though. Yuna's all right, gonna cure herself. FF10 story highlights the need for a systematic change. The summoner's individual pilgrimage ultimately perpetuates the oppression it is promised to destroy. You're correct. You're correct. It's also like a more basically, I mean, this is kind of obvious, but it's a critique of theocratic governments, I think, too. Or just the way that religion is used to enforce and reinforce the order of things, the existing state of things. Dang, see, Yuna leveled up 2 there. These things are giving us so much freaking experience. It's hard to not just keep leveling up. But I'm gonna go fight the boss now. It's time. Time to stop being afraid of Seymour, the weird ASMR boss. The weird sexual assault boss. Pleasant regard my previous comment. I don't want to waste my hard-earned money on Marxist books that are possibly distorted. Right? Yeah, you only got limited money. That's why I suggest international publishers. Like Penguin is cheaper generally, I believe, just because they're like mass-produced and stuff. But so international publishers might be a little more expensive, but then you're spending your money on a better product, right? Be interested. Sounds like a good direction. Marxism makes sense to study more than anything right now for me, I think. Definitely. Yeah, it's good to just read philosophy in general, honestly. Philosophy is sort of like thinking about how to think. How should we interpret the world? How should we go about finding truth? And Marxism provides a great method for looking at history and looking at our existing conditions and how to change them. And just how to understand the world when we're surrounded by bourgeois irrationalism, when we're surrounded by a media and a ruling class and an education system that has to distort things in order to portray themselves as the good guys and in order to maintain the current order where the capitalists remain the ruling class. So they're basically forced into a position of irrationalism. And Marxism kind of helps you untangle that and to see the world for what it is and see society for what it is and see the existing system for what it is. See the ruling class for what it is. See the existing education system for what it is. It is what it is. You're up. I like how the hypocritical church uses Machina while telling its subjects that the Machina's use is the cause of sin's wrath. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of commentary with the Machina and the Al-Bed in general. And even Waka, who's in our party, who, like, for the first part of the game, because of his adherence to the church and because of his brother's death, has racist attitudes towards the Al-Bed people. And then he learns to overcome those, of course. Lots of heavy themes. All the Final Fantasy games have super heavy themes like that. You know, it's not always as explicitly political, but very, very adult themes in every single game. 7 was kind of the one that kicked that off, but even 6 is pretty freaking hardcore. 6 was obviously a super, super groundbreaking game for the time. As was 7, but 6 was just like one of the first video games to have a story that was like movie quality. You know? Just like mind-blowing. And it's crazy because they're like little pixels, you know? It's on the Super Nintendo. It's not like the characters have good graphics or anything, or you can even see their face really like this. Or you can, but it's all pixelated. It's 16-bit. Still a great story. It's like America condemning the use of violence while projecting the most violence with money and military bases. Yes. Right. Or using their drones. Their drone warfare. That's one of the main ways that the U.S. maintains neocolonialism in Africa. It has so much control in Africa, and why the recent coup in Niger and the countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, Algeria, and others coming out and supporting Niger and the new government against the West is because it represents the U.S. losing their stranglehold on Africa and losing one of their puppet dictatorships. Which and you know they're going to forge closer ties with Russia and China as soon as they establish stability and their independence. So fascinating stuff coming out of Africa right now. Yeah, and they explicitly wanted to kick out AFRICOM, I believe they want to kick out AFRICOM. They definitely want to kick out the French military presence in Mali and around Southern Africa in general. So crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. Unipolarity is coming to an end. I just hope it doesn't end in nuclear war, you know. I hope it ends peacefully. Hope the U.S. empire becomes the U.S. Socialist Republic once the workers in this country rise up and seize the government. We don't go to war with China and Russia over maintaining U.S. hegemony economically and geopolitically. But time will tell. Niger stopped their export of gold and uranium. France and USA seething. Absolutely they are. Absolutely. How could you do this? How could you assert independence? It's okay for these countries to assert political independence, right? It's okay for them to say we're not a colony anymore. But as soon as they want to start acting independent economically, as soon as they want to end economic colonialism, that's when the U.S. freaks out, and that's when the U.S. military or AFRICOM or the CIA or U.S. trained mercenary groups or whoever gets involved. It was cool. Matt Gaetz, who obviously Matt Gaetz sucks, but he sometimes does good stuff. He called out the leader of AFRICOM, or one of the AFRICOM generals, for training up mercenary groups to overthrow the government in Africa. So, hey, we'll take our wins where we can get them, folks. Sometimes they got to come from Matt Gaetz. Just is what it is, you know. I probably didn't need to use those ethers. They're gonna let me use a save sphere before I fight this boss, huh? That's really nice of them. Recommend Red Star Publishers. Nice. Anti-revisionist ML publisher based out of New York. Probably best known for publishing Grover Furr's book Blood Lies. Oh, well, if they publish that, you know they're good. And you know they're not afraid of criticism either. It's for sure. I recommend. According to this tweet, prior to the current Niger coup, there have been 4 coups since 1960. Yet in the 50-plus years of uranium production, Niger hasn't missed a single shipment abroad until now. Wow. So this is unprecedented. They haven't stopped shipping since the 1960s. When the U.S. was taking over as the main global neo-colonial hegemon or power. All right, are we ready to fight this boss? Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. Gotta save again. Let's do it. It's time to do this for communism. All right, first let's hit these trigger commands. All right, we get more magic defense by talking to him, I guess. But there's no dialogue. That's just strange. This is just Final Fantasy being weird. It's always weird. In a good way. Jeez. Items. All right, let's see here. I just had null everything. Now let's use this. Help me out, Friedrich Engels. Here he comes. The best friend of Karl Marx. Friedrich Engels. Woo! Gosh, I really wish my soundboard was working today. That's a bummer. I mean, I just don't have it on. I could turn it on. It would take 2 seconds. All right, Engels. Show him who's boss. Getting info can be difficult in this CIA minefield of media. That's why I want to do like a media literacy class to really help people understand how CNN, MSNBC, and all these outlets lie to you. He banished me. How they all lie to you. and where they get their sources from. Because a lot of times, like with the Xinjiang thing, right? It's like, how do they tell a lie this big? And it's like only Adrian Zenz is like the only source saying that there's a genocide in Xinjiang, or one of the only sources. Him or like these people from the World Uyghur Congress, which is just a U.S. State Department arm, and that puts out, misinformation about foreign governments that the U.S. wants to destroy. So it comes like all the sources are from 2 or 3 main sources, or it's from someone in the diaspora, a Uyghur living in Washington, D.C., or a Uyghur Muslim living in the U.S. who works for the, generally they're all connected to this thing called the World Uyghur Congress, this arm of the U.S. State Department that, again, cooks up misinformation. So then you have like 2 or 3 sources of information, which the entire corporate media apparatus then picks up and blasts over a loudspeaker. So you have, 27 headlines that are generated from one piece of information or misinformation from Adrian Zenz, saying that through 15 phone calls he made, he determined that there's a genocide going on in Xinjiang. And then people say, well, like 27 different sources, the New York Times and Washington Post and blah, 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 all reported on this. Of course it's true. It's like, well, look at who their source is. Their source is all the same. It's all one source. And it's this Christian fundamentalist, Adrian Zenz, who says he's on a mission from God to destroy China. Or it's, Rushan Abbas or someone from the World Uyghur Congress, which is, has deep CIA connections and NED connections. So, showing people how to kind of deconstruct stuff like that and see through stuff like that, I think would be valuable. And yeah, I want to do a class on it. So hopefully you guys agree that would be valuable. I would love a class like that. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you think it would be valuable. Because that's what I want to do. Can I attack this thing? Yeah, I can do. Oh, I got to do my trigger command first. Oren and Seymour got to have a good conversation. If you're interested in talking about media literacy from this kind of anti-imperialist propaganda, a good author to look into is Dr. Donald Gibson. Okay. What are some of his books? Element Reels. Let's see what I get. White. All right. Got it. Got it. Finally, I got Waka's thing right. I didn't realize it gives you like 20 seconds to do it. I don't have to rush like I do every time. Like the first time in this playthrough I've gotten that. I was watching Lilo and Stitch even had that CIA propaganda apologia. It's funny. I don't even know what you're talking about. Probably the part where they're like talking to the cops. I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in forever, but yeah, it's once you see capitalism for what it is, you see it everywhere. It's like, get out of my head. Just let me enjoy Lilo and Stitch, damn it. Your brain is like, no, we must think critically. B, X, Z, C. What? Oh, I screwed that up. It still did so much damage. Orin is so strong. Should we heal Waka? Probably should. Wake up, Waka. Would Midwestern Marx be interested in publishing works by Marx, Engels, Lenin, Stalin, Mao, etc. as an alternative to publishing firms like Penguin? Yeah, I know that's something Carlos is working on, or that's something that he's wanted to do in the past, at least. I'm sure you guys know that Carlos runs the, or does more with the publishing press than I do. He spearheads that part of the project, whereas I spearhead the social media outreach and YouTube and stuff. But yeah, he has talked about doing that multiple times. I think it's just a matter of finding a good place to print with and, making sure all the legal stuff is figured out like it needs to be figured out. Make sure we're not, infringing on copyright or breaking any rules. But that's definitely something we want to do. And then we could write our own intros, which would just be like, that would just be fun, It would be a little extra work, but it'd be really cool to write intros for our favorite Marxist texts. Not even totally sure how this battle works, by the way. Gonna keep attacking this thing. Get Yuna in here. To do a Kyora. Wake up, Waga. Maybe I should attack him. Ooh. That was a lot of damage. Yeah, I should attack him. Oh, yeah, we can definitely take him out now. I think we might actually be over-leveled. I may have done too much level grinding, y'all. Whoops. Oh, well. You never be too strong. That's what I always say when I'm lifting. Wake up. Lazy bum. Boom. Ugh. Final Fantasy Kings. Dude, you gotta tell me what part of Lilo and Stitch was CIA propaganda. When did you start wrestling? Freaking when I could walk. I don't know. My dad was a wrestling coach, so I was always around it. I probably started organized wrestling as a preschooler or a kindergartner when I was like 7 or 8. I mean, they didn't push me hard. I would just go to practice and do practice twice a week, and maybe compete in 1 or 2 tournaments a year till 3rd grade. Then I did a little more. And then just more and more each year. I dealt with long-term illness though, when mostly like 4th grade through beginning of my high school career, so that got in my way.
Skins intact, but Yuna lost something.
Which is why I hate the healthcare system so much now.
Her faith was shaken. Yevon had betrayed her. I felt like I should do or say something, anything. But nothing came. I was just as lost as she was. And then...
Well, we're all clear.
Ooh, I think we're finally at Mount Gagazet.
The battle in the future. Yuna.
Said you wanted to be alone.
Of course. Must be tough for you.
GG's. Must be.
I know what Uni'll do, huh?
That's what you want, right?
Well, if Uni really wants, I guess I shouldn't stop. That's what I think.
Fair enough. You're a good friend, Riku.
Maybe you should talk to her.
Yuna's off in the... Kumari's with her.
There's a child protective services agent threatening to take Lilo away from her sister who has custody. Their parents died in a car crash. I'm feeling... Maybe I'm stupid, but why is that CIA propaganda? I mean, I know I'm stupid, but... In regard to my previous comment, you could publish a work like Anti-During by Engels, for example. You could have the undistorted text plus a brief introduction by Riggins, brief history of the book where Engels was correct. Right, yeah, that would be really, really awesome. Plus, we already have, like, you know, Riggins and Carlos could whip up an intro to a book like that in seconds, you know. And I really like intros like that are like chapter by chapter breakdowns and show where the book is still relevant today and stuff. So, all right, we beat the boss though, y'all. We just hit an hour, so I'm gonna end the stream here. Also, I gotta go hang out with my girlfriend at 4, and I cannot be late for that, of course. I don't want to get yelled at. She would never yell at me, but the CPS agent is later revealed to be a CIA agent who helped aliens in Roswell Area 51. Oh, there you go. There you go. The state is even a body with a monopoly on violence used for class suppression in Lilo and Stitch. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out today. This was a really fun stream. Got a lot of good conversations going in the chat. I honestly wish I could keep going for another hour. This is fun. I like playing this game, but got stuff to do, so we'll see you next time.